At Wind River Resort and Casino, we like to celebrate life's little moments. Oh, and the big ones too, because around here, when you're completely in the moment, that's when the magic happens. Come in and find your moment at Wind River Resort and Casino.
Good morning, everyone. Meteorologist Mike Krueger here. We are starting off with the radar here to show that, yes, the rain has made its way back into Northern California. We got snow off in the mountains, and you know what? Those snow levels looks like they're starting off a little low this morning. There's out near Fawndale, we'll take a closer look at that here in a second, but out near Fawndale, kind of reports, even coming in from Caltrans, that there's some snow 10 miles north of Redding that we're beginning to see there. Of course, you can see the radar there. You can see the snow, some of the blues there. The pinks is kind of that rain-snow mix. So we look at Mount Shasta on I-5. You can see the kind of the pinks there. So it's kind of that borderline, right? We're seeing that rain-snow mix there, probably kind of closer to more in the way of snow. That's also the case out towards Snowman Summit. We take you out to Buckhorn Summit, and you can kind of see right here. I'm going to see if I can highlight or right around here, I'll put my cursor. That's Buckhorn Summit right there. So we're getting in that mix category there, but really mainly in the form of rain along Highway 299 at this point. Taking a look at some of the rainfall totals over the last 2 days, there's a nice zoomed in view, but now we zoom it out. You can see 1.5 inches over the last 2 days for Redding, a little bit more in Red Bluff, less than an inch, just a little bit out towards Chico. Of course, about an inch in Eureka, 1.62 in Crescent City. It's also the case out towards Hoopa. Hayfork, 1.33 in Weaverville. You've seen about 0.66 inches of rainfall. Of course, much less off to the north and east. All right, so here is what I'm watching through early next week. We've got moderate to heavy rain at times. Possible flooding and mudslides and debris flows are certainly something we'll have to watch here very closely. Periods of heavy snow with possible I-5 delays, closures, snow between 2,500 and 4,500 feet. You know, you think of yesterday, we saw snow as low as 2,000 feet in some cases. It was a wet snow, right? A bit of a mix, but snow nonetheless, right? And that's when if we start seeing snow that low, then of course we start seeing bigger problems, say above 3,000 feet or so. And then a third element we need to talk about, and that is winds. The winds are already starting to pick up in some areas here, especially along the coast, and they're going to be picking up here later this morning and afternoon for everyone else. We got gusts upwards of 40, 50, even some of those higher elevations around 60 miles per hour. Winds that strong could lead to the potential for power outages, maybe some downed trees as well. So there is a lot to unpack here for today. This is storm system number 2 that's pushing on through. Good morning, everyone. I'm Chief Meteorologist Mike Krueger. It is Coffee with Krueger. Starts every morning at a little about 7 o'clock in the morning here. Just wanted to kind of give you a quick briefing of what's going on and what I've been tracking here this morning. We've got a lot to talk about here today, and we're going to be talking about 3 main elements, as of course what I was tracking here in the storm that I was telling you about. And that, of course, is the rain that could lead to flooding. That's also, of course, the snow that could lead to possible delays even on I-5. And many of the mountain passes, and of course the winds could lead to some power outages. So many things that we need to take into account here. We've got some of the regulars checking in this morning. Looks like we've got, let's see here. Oops, no, that wasn't what I wanted to put up there. Let's put this one up there instead, shall we? Let's do that one. There we go. We've got Jessica saying good morning from Weaverville. It's cold and raining. Well, that's good to know, because I know yesterday there was a little bit of question, because I know in Hayfork they were getting a kind of a slushy snow. So I was curious how it looks in Weaverville. So thank you for that report. We have got Lisa Stevens, one of our regulars there, saying happy rainy Friday all. Have a great day and wonderful wet weekend. And you know what? Not all the weekend is going to be wet. We're going to get into that a little bit later, but Saturday wet, yes. But Sunday, not so much. We've got a good morning from James. We've got a good morning from Bill Carlton. Happy Friday, everyone. Have a great weekend. We've got Jim Curie saying, don't throw the pontoons away, LOL. Yeah, I mean, no, it's not going to be flooding like that, right? But yeah, fun. Good morning, Mike, and everyone. Measured 1.5 inches of rain yesterday. Yeah, some decent rainfall totals coming out of that. We've also got Chappie saying good morning to everyone here on this Friday morning. And by the way, programming note for those of you that are checking in this morning, I am because of what we're expecting here tonight and early tomorrow morning, I am planning on doing a Coffee with Krueger live once again at 7 a.m. for tomorrow morning. That's Saturday. I'll also be doing the 6 o'clock in the morning update as well. But of course, then Chase Wilson, that is, will be doing your afternoon and evening update tomorrow, and of course Sunday as well. But just wanted to give you a quick programming note on that. I will be here to cover the storm as it moves through tonight, because I think the biggest impact is going to be tonight and early tomorrow morning, at least in the form of that rain and snow. All right, let's get you to your quick cast, shall we? And of course, it is Friday, December 13th. For those of you that are superstitious, Friday the 13th. I forget what the character's name was. Was it Jason or was it Michael Myers for the Friday the 13th movie series? I can't remember. I really wasn't a big fan of those, but I know that was a big one. Chrissy's saying, Reading steady over KOA camp in Shingletown, melting yesterday's slouchy snow. Upper 30s right now. Yeah, I mean, so looks like we are starting a little bit higher in those snow elevations this morning than where we were yesterday at this time. All right, let's get you to Krueger's quick cast here. There you can see the temperatures right now. I was able to update those this morning. 44 degrees for Reading, 50 though in Chico. We've got mainly in those low to mid 30s, even some upper 30s for some of the higher elevations. And yeah, I mean, upper 30s right now in upper, kind of in, the KOA camp area. Excuse me. So even at 3,500 feet, you're at about 38 degrees. 36 in Mount Shasta City, 35 in Weaverville, and you can see along the coast of those temperatures in the upper 40s to around 50. There is a flood watch. We're going to go over just the watches and warnings here real briefly, because, you know, we can talk about these till we're blue in the face, but really where the story is what's causing all of these watches and warnings, right? But there's that flood watch for southern Humboldt County. We've got a winter storm warning for many areas surrounding the valley, including a winter weather advisory for southern Trinity County. We've got winds to talk about. There's a high wind warning for central Siskiyou County, otherwise known as Shasta Valley. We've got a wind advisory for many areas, including the Sacramento Valley. There's also a coastal flood warning along the coast here until 11 o'clock this morning. That's not because of the rain. It's because of the high astronomical tides that we have in the area. So getting you out the door this morning, it's going to be wet for many of us this morning. It's going to be snowy in the mountains. It's going to be on the cool side. The winds are going to be picking up here this morning and afternoon as well. So there's storm number 2 knocking on our door. We've got that warm front which is moving through. That's one of the reasons why. See that section between the cold front, that's the blue line, and the red line? That's known as the warm sector. And that's typically where the warmer air is. But once we get behind that cold front, then of course we will be looking at that colder air moving in, and snow levels may begin to drop as a result. Now we take a look at futurecast here, at least through tonight. So there you can see this morning the rain has just begun to kind of kick in, and then we go through the morning into the noon hour. You see how we have some pretty decent, steady, moderate rain for the valley, but it started to kind of taper off as we get into the noon hour. You think of the main column of moisture is pointed for just north of Reading all the way up to southern Oregon. That's where most of the moisture is being pointed to, and that's where we're going to see the heaviest rain and the heaviest snow. We're not seeing it pointed over directly over the valley, which is why the valley probably won't see as much rain, at least this morning. At least as we go through the afternoon. However, by the afternoon and evening, that will begin to fill in more for the valley. But look at the heavy rainfall along the coast, heavy snow. Now what you'll notice is that we were going from snow this morning near Mount Shasta City. Now it looks like mainly in the form of rain. So today may be interesting with those snow levels as we kind of see them go up and down a little bit here. But look at tonight. You see that? Now we're starting to see that rain kick in. That's the cold front, by the way. So as we get behind that cold front, notice what's happening with the snow. It's getting heavier, and we're starting to see those snow levels begin to drop a little bit. In fact, you'll see as we look at the deeper dive forecast, places like Buckhorn Summit, Oregon Mountain may have some problems with travel. Right now, we're not seeing any delays on I-5, at least due to snow, but we do have chaining requirements east and west of I-5. Taking a look at the forecast road conditions. So again, today, see what that red over near Mount Shasta City on I-5, that's kind of the borderline rain-snow mix, right? So there may not be major issues here through this afternoon, but that may change here later tonight and into tomorrow. I do expect there to be heavier snow, lower snow levels. You can see even around Buckhorn Summit, close to Oregon Mountain, we're seeing some of that problem as well. All right, I don't know why I got out the door again here this morning, but let's advance it now. What's going on? Oh, I know what happened. Let's get to that, and then we're going to go. What I want to show you here, after I was going to show you the road conditions, we're going to show you what it looks like out there. Now, Fondale exit. Look at Fondale exit. If you look closely, it looks like it's raining, but you kind of see a bit of a snow mix in there. That's at 1,000 feet, folks. A rain-snow mix, it looks like. And you can see it looks like things at Pitt River Bridge, Lakehead mainly looks to be on the wet side, although we may be seeing a mix out towards Lakehead as well. There's Snowman Summit on the right. You can clearly see the snow is already beginning to pile up there. I-5 near Mount Shasta, 3,500 feet. Looks wet, not necessarily snowy. That's also the case in Dunsmuir. Let's take a look at some other cams around the region. Black Butte on I-5. Can't really see anything there in Weed or at the Weed Airport. That's down for construction. We can see Grass Lake, though, on Highway 97. It looks like it is covered in snow. Nothing there to see, at least. Can't see it on Mount Hebron, or Hebron. Is that how you say Mount Hebron? Buckhorn Summit. That's at the base of Buckhorn Summit. All right, so you go up that slope, and that's where you have Buckhorn Summit. Looks like Oregon Mountains is just wet. That's also the case for Berry Summit. That's 299 west, by the way, that we're looking at. On Hatchet Mountain, looks like we're seeing snowflakes there, but the road's still not snow covered. I'd be willing to guess that Caltrans is doing a good job keeping that clear. Four Corners doesn't look too bad there for now. Cedar Pass looks a little wet, a little slushy there on the road. We take you up to Highway 44. Shingletown looks wet, but not snowy at 3,500 feet. But look at Lassen Park. That's the north entrance there on Highway 44. We do have a snow-covered highway there. And we're taking a look at Chester. That looks a little wet, but not necessarily a lot of snow for down your summit. Looks a little icy, slushy there. And now we got Highway 36 at 44. Looks okay there. Town Hill, northwest of Susanville, and East Riverside, southeast Susanville, looks to be like the roads are clear there as well. So again, we take a look at the latest. Is there a reason why I have the road conditions in there again? Let's take you to the winds, because that's the other thing we need to take a look at. And you can see those gusts are beginning to pick up even for the valley, 20, even over 30 miles per hour. Gusty over 40 miles per hour for the coast. Central Siskiyou County, we can see gusts over 50 miles per hour. And then, of course, those winds continue as we go into this afternoon for pretty much everyone, including the valley. And then by tonight and into tomorrow, the winds die down for the coast, but still very gusty even Saturday morning for the valley. But those winds should subside for everyone by the time we get to Saturday afternoon. All right, here's what we have in store for us today. Temperatures are going to be the low 50s for the valley, 20s and 30s for many of the higher elevations. Taking a look at your 7-day outlook for the valley. Well, we got, of course, that break on Sunday. Yeah, break on Sunday, folks. And then, of course, we dry things out after storm number 3 moves through on Monday. Same situation for the coast, inland and Trinity County, a break on Sunday. Some storm number 3 moves through on Monday, which, by the way, Monday's system is going to be much weaker than what we're seeing right now, or will see today and tonight. And then that's the case for Siskiyou, Modoc County, and the Eastern Mountains. And then we're drying out for Tuesday through the end of next week. All right, that is Krueger's Quick Cast. Let's check in with everybody, see how you're doing out there this morning before we get to the deeper dive forecast. We've also got Pet of the Week that we need to tell you about here for this morning. Oh, before we get to that, let's take a look at some of the cameras. Okay, that's interesting. I'm not sure what's going on there. Well, I don't know what we're looking at. That's interesting. Something's going on with the camera there. That's weird. Here is Lake Orville, North Forebay. Looks a little overcast out there this morning. We should be seeing some daylight. What's going on? I guess the camera's not picking up on a whole lot. Looks a little wet this morning out in Main Street, Chico on Highway 32. Now it looks like we've also got Highway 99 at Neal Road. Looks a little wet on the roadways there this morning. And you know what? I forgot to check to see if anybody had sent any pictures here today from the Free Weather NorCal app. I'll have to make sure I check that here today. But you can see Sundial Bridge on Highway 44. That's at Sundial Bridge Drive. So, and by the way, of course, I was talking about that. If you have any winter photos, any storm photos, I'd love for you to share them from the Free Weather NorCal app. It's very easy. They're already on your phone. Why not share them with the Weather NorCal, and we can get those on social media. We can get those on the morning updates right here in Coffee with Krueger, the works. So yeah, I encourage you to do that, and I would greatly appreciate it because it just gives me an idea of what's going on out there as well. All right, so we've got Catherine Schmidt saying, good day. Hope everyone has stayed safe. Raining here. Snow's almost gone in the Castle area. We've got Ryan Purcell. How you doing out there, Ryan? Good to see you again this morning. Reporting that we've got 34 degrees in Dunsmuir. Just slush. No snow just yet. That's at a lower elevation than Mount Shasta, so I'd be curious to see what's up there in Mount Shasta at a slightly higher elevation. Let's see here. We've got Lisa Stevens saying, Jason. Oh, it was Jason from Friday the 13th. Okay, thank you. Again, I got them all mixed up. Friday the 13th villain. Yes. We've also got Catherine Schmidt saying, good day. Hope everyone stays safe. Raining here. Snow's almost gone here in the Castle area. Fun, fun, fun. Hey, by the way, today is Friday, and you know what that means. We have got our Pet of the Week, and I had the opportunity to meet the Pet of the Week yesterday. And let's take a look at Ziggy. And for those of you, some of you may remember the name Ziggy and the relation to a cartoon character. So that's always fun. We'll talk about that in our Pet of the Week. And of course, meet Ziggy, the Pet of the Week. Hello everyone, Mike Krueger, Weather NorCal. Of course, this is Pet of the Week. I'm at Haven Humane Society with Katrina, and we have got our Pet of the Week, Ziggy. Now, I dated myself a bit earlier. There was a cartoon called Ziggy, and some of you who are of the older generation may know what I'm talking about, but a little side note there. So Ziggy here is, I'm kind of loving this breed. Is this a kind of a pit mix?
Yeah, we think he's a pit mix, and he's got that beautiful brindle coat.
Yeah, I like that.
And he's a really fun age because we think he's about 10 months old. So he's definitely still very puppy in that he has a lot to learn, and he's still growing and, you know, figuring out the world, but he's past the like little puppy stage.
Yeah.
And honestly, he's just super loving. I would say he's more on the cuddly side rather than like playful side. He definitely gets silly and zoomy, but for the most part, he wants to be doing this or getting belly rubs or just rolling around with you.
Well, it was crazy because I was setting up my gear. He was really good just waiting for me to kind of be done with what I was doing.
Yeah.
And then he came over here with me and is loving it. He's leaning like crazy on me. So what do you think would be a good family or a good home, if you will?
I would say just any moderately active family who is ready for, you know, a puppy. He needs to get out every day. He needs toys. He needs enrichment, that sort of thing. But otherwise, I would say he's very moldable. So I think most homes would be good for him.
Really? I mean, just a really good dog. I think this is going to be a good, loyal dog to anyone who decides to take Ziggy here. So if you're interested in Ziggy, why don't you give the number on at the bottom of your screen to call, and of course, you take care of you here at Haven Humane Society. Thank you so much, Katrina. Thank you, Ziggy, and good luck. I hope you want to take Ziggy to bring to your forever home. Thanks again, and we'll see you next week for Pet of the Week. Well, there you have it. There's a look at Ziggy, and Ziggy really was really a great dog. It was really interesting, and I think I mentioned this in the video, is that when I was setting up the gear, Ziggy was like just really wanting my attention, but I had to get the gear set up. And he actually ended up just laying down, patiently waiting for me. And then once I was able to sit down with him, you could see he was just leaning on me, loving the affection. So a very affectionate dog, but also has that playful side as well. So I think really a good mix of all of that and a great personality. And I'm getting the sense that Ziggy's going to be one of those very loyal dogs that will stick by your side through thick and thin. And we all love that in our animals. We all love that in our pets. By the way, of course, I was checking in on some of you with some different photos. So Chappie was saying, I sent you a picture of Donovan Reservoir frozen over Cal Pines. So you can see here, let's see here. I was able to, I'm kind of just going to do this back way here. Let's get to the, so this is coming in from, and let me see who this is from. This one is from Kelly Smith. You can see right there, there is an image. Look at that. And I love seeing this because what it does is it gives me some perspective. This is Lake Macomber. Then we've got Lake Macomber as well coming in from Sean Lamb. And so there's the backyard. Looks like they got one of those cameras in the backyard. And then this This is from Chappie, saying this is the reservoir, the Donovan Reservoir frozen over Calpines. Yeah, I mean, you can kind of see, you wouldn't want to walk on that, that's for sure. But yeah, pretty cool. So thanks again for all of you for sending in those pictures here. Before we get to that, I was reading another one of your comments. This is coming in from Catherine Schmidt. She's asking the question, where are the Dopplers located? It skips over the Intermountain area once in a while. Now, here's the reason why. I'm going to show you this. Let's go to the radar here. Let's get the radar up. We'll do that. All right. I think what's going to be a great one to show here. We'll put you up there so you're not looking up here. I'm going to change things around a little bit here. We're going to go into reflectivity. All right. So this right here is such a prime example. And I'm actually going to go up to the weather wall so I can kind of show you, so we can kind of really explain, because you can clearly see. You see this right here? This looks like an area where we're not seeing any snow or rain, right? But that's not the case. There is. So here's the radar site, kind of in the Medford area. Mount Shasta, the mountain, is right here. So the problem is the mountain actually blocks the radar beam. So we're not able to get any data from the base of the mountain and as it shoots out northward. So that's the reason why the data is not coming in. So even when you do a composite of all the radars, the data is not there. So it's going to show this sliver where you're not getting any rain or snow, or at least that's what it's showing. Because again, the data is not there. Now, the beauty is we do have other radars that we can look at. So let's change the radar site. We're going to go and do it from the coast. Well, the coast doesn't go out that far, does it? So that's not going to work for us. Let's take you out to, this is coming out of Reno. Unfortunately, the radar site doesn't really go that far either. And then, of course, we've got Beale, which is kind of in, no, that's the wrong one. We got this one. That mainly is the best one for the valley, but there is this bit of a dead zone, unfortunately, as you kind of get southeast of the mountain of Mount Shasta, because a lot of the radar beams surrounding it don't go up far enough to kind of fill in that gap a little bit. So kind of interesting. But yeah, good question. Very good question. But the main Doppler radar sites that we look at, let's zoom it out here, you'll see, and I'll switch between them. So there's the one in Orville, it's known as the Beale Air Force Base. Then we've got the one southwest of Eureka, that's the other Doppler radar. Then we've got another one just south of Medford. Sometimes when you're on I-5, you can actually see it on the mountain there. If you look off to the west on I-5, you can see the Doppler radar there. I've seen that a few times traveling up in that area. And then this is the one just northeast of Reno. That's where the radar site is there. And then so the thing is, you can't show them all at once. So what I tend to do is I just show the radar and that kind of fills in. So yes, we are getting some data that does kind of fill in the gaps here, but you can even see right here, right? So it does kind of fill in the gaps around Bernie, right? But we do have this gap that we're not seeing the data right here. So once again, it's very interesting that the radar or the mountain kind of blocks that. So good question. I love those kinds of questions. I'm able to kind of answer your questions on that. Let's now get to this. We'll go into the deeper dive forecast. Of course, as you know, Wind River is the supporter and the sponsor of Coffee with Krueger. At Wind River Resort and Casino, enjoy friendly service, a wide variety of specials, plus all of your favorite slots and table games. Once again, I want to thank Wind River for their support. All right, there you can see right now the temperatures. They're mainly in the mid-40s for most of us in the valley, but 30s for the higher elevations. A lot of these temperatures do help to support some of that snow, but again, we're kind of in that borderline there at Mount Shasta City at about 36. Right around the upper 40s to about 50 here for the coast. There you can see the radar. Once again, it's all beginning to move on in, and we're seeing the rain making its way into the valley, not as heavy down to the south. We're seeing that snow in the higher elevations, and we're seeing that heavier snow out, heavier rain that is, out along the coast. All right, so let's take a look now as we take a closer zoom in look out towards Mount Shasta. Now the ski park looks like it's getting plenty of snow. Doesn't look like we're seeing anything on I-5 right now, but we are seeing some snow A bit of a mix in snow out towards Highway 89 and looks like getting close. So that's kind of the back edge. There'll be more coming in from the west though, and that will start to fill in. Here you can see Highway 299 west. There's a look at Buckhorn Summit. Oregon Mountain, looks like we're not seeing a ton of snow there either, but we are of course seeing that rain off in the valley right now. Let's take a look at that storm timeline. So I've adjusted this from the last few days. And now I've basically put the high impact for today. But really, kind of a side note on that, I think the heaviest rain, the heaviest snow will be this evening, tonight, and early Saturday morning. So the high impact is really the second half of today. But we do expect steady rain for many parts of the areas that are seeing rain. Steady snow in the higher elevations. This could create I-5 delays and maybe even a closure. And again, I think though most of those delays and the possible closure will be tonight and early tomorrow morning. High winds are also going to be the thing that we've got to watch here very closely, and that could mean the potential for power outages for today and tonight. So as we go into Saturday, I've got the moderate impact, and the reason being is the bulk of anything on Saturday will be early in the morning. Gusty winds, heavy rainfall, heavy snow, closure of I-5 possibly, chain requirements on I-5, and of course east and west of I-5. But we do expect improving conditions as we approach the afternoon hours on Saturday. However, that being said, there could be some possible thunderstorms tomorrow afternoon. Now, Sunday, we've been talking about the break. That looks like it's going to be the case here. Low impact, obviously, because there's no rain, there's no snow. That's good. We're getting a break. But then I've got a minor impact on Monday. Monday's system, that's going to be the storm system number 3. It's going to have a smaller impact. It's not going to be as heavy as rainfall, heavy as snow. Winds won't be as strong, but there's still going to be an impact nonetheless. So there you can see the area of low pressure. This is the storm system that is barreling in closer to Northern California. It's going to stall out by the time it gets here. Once we get behind that cold front later this evening and tonight, we'll see those snow levels begin to drop. But this storm system has a nice tap of moisture right here. And that is what we got heading our way as we go into today and even into the first part of the day tomorrow. So storms 2 and 3 are on the way. Of course, there's storm system number 2. Number 1 is out of here. It's off to our east. And there is storm system number 3 heading our way for your Monday. And of course, right here, we're seeing a bit of a break here on Sunday that you can kind of see here. All right, so this is the moisture content, right? This is looking at the available moisture in the atmosphere. It's a forecast model we can look at, see where most of the moisture is. And this is really a great tool to see where any atmospheric rivers may be as well. Okay, so what we're seeing here is this dip. Yesterday, we didn't see that dip in the jet stream. That's because we saw that nice stream. It was all this color, if you remember, and it was kind of heading in our direction, but it kind of cut itself off right about here. What's happened is this. The main area of low pressure, you can see clearly what we call a trough of low pressure. As the area of low pressure digs and the trough digs to the south, we start to see that, and we begin to get cut off from that main flow, and it kind of cuts off that main flow. However, the moisture is still there. So we have this atmospheric river, if you will, not by textbook standards, because typically that moisture source will continue to move down in this direction, but we're not seeing that. This is getting it from this, but we're still seeing a bit of an atmospheric river over Northern California for today. That's going to be the source for rain and snow in the higher elevations, and steady rain and steady snow for some of us. That will shift to the south, especially as we go into tonight and tomorrow morning, and then by tomorrow afternoon, it's way down to our south. Okay, and then we see a bit of a break as we go into Saturday night and Sunday, and then this, another weaker atmospheric river pointed at us on Monday. Now, once we get past Monday, you see all this moisture, these storms off to our west, we're dry. We will be dry for Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, even Friday, but I'm beginning to see signs that this will eventually push through Friday night into Saturday of that next weekend. Not this weekend, but that next weekend, we'll be looking at possibility for some more rain. But we're going to get a nice little break from all of this Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. That's what it's looking like. So, atmospheric river. We've talked about it. I've talked about this many times. Even when there's a lot of hype out there about atmospheric river, I've pulled this out to help really explain what the atmospheric river impact is. A lot of people don't realize that there are 5 different categories of the strength of an atmospheric river. Weak, right? All the way up to what's known as exceptional, category 5. So we're nowhere near category 3, 4, or 5. We're in that weak to moderate category here for today. Then, of course, it levels way off to no atmospheric river Saturday afternoon, Sunday, and then a weaker system coming in on Monday. So the thing is, I want you to remember though, when we have this is known as just beneficial rainfall. That's all it is. When we start getting into the moderate, that's saying, hey, listen, it's beneficial rainfall, but there are hazards that can be associated with that category 2 atmospheric river. The hazards typically can be flash flooding, mudslides, debris flows, very gusty winds. That's what we've got here for today. We're in that category 2, right? We're going to be looking at weaker winds, most likely not flooding on Monday. That's why we're in that category 1 based on the forecast model data. So with that said, right, for today, look at this. You've got marginal to slight chances for that flash flood risk. Now, as we go into tomorrow, that's going to be a slimmer risk because conditions will improve as we go through the afternoon, but still a chance for showers and thunderstorms. All right, now that we've kind of shown you the setup of what we expect here for the next few days, let's take a look at what Futurecast has in store for us. So as we go through the morning hours, you see how it's beginning to fill in. So I do expect some steady, moderate to heavy rainfall at times, even for the valley this morning. You see the snow that we're seeing here? That's going to be possibly impacting I-5 as it begins to fill in more. But look at the noon hour. You see how it's beginning to break up? We're seeing scattered showers. It's not quite as heavy. I think it'll still be steady drizzle, light rain for all of these areas in the valley, maybe a little bit heavier for Redding as you head north. But an atmospheric river is defined as a narrow column of moisture that's being pushed by the winds. That narrow column of moist air is right here. You see how it's pointed just north of the valley. Now, on the outer fringes of that narrow, we tend to still see some rain, but it's just the main concentration is to the north of that. So you can see that's where the heavier snow is. That's where the heavier rain is to the north and west. So let's take you into this afternoon. It begins to fill in a little bit more, but still it's mainly concentrated to the north and west of the valley. Here you can see as we go into this evening, it's beginning to fill in more. This main column right here, watch what happens as we go into tonight. Yes, it's diving down to the south and east now. And now that column is over the valley tonight. Now we've got more steady, moderate to heavy rainfall, heavy snow. And we're now getting behind the cold front. So snow levels are going to start to drop as we go into this evening and tonight. And this is when I expect the bigger nightmares when it comes to travel in the mountains, because now we're seeing lower snow levels as a result. Mount Shasta City on I-5, Highway 89, even on Buckhorn Summit, Oregon Mountain, Highway 36 West. Of course, all of the mountain passes east of I-5, there are going to be problems there as well. That's tonight or early tomorrow morning, 6 a.m. Look at this. This, again, this is come time when people are ready to start to travel if they got weekend plans. Unfortunately, you've got heavy snow. My wife has plans to go up visit some family up in Southern Oregon. I'm telling you, it's not a good idea because look what we've got going on here this morning. Between 3,000 and 4,000 feet, could be locally lower than that. Could be down to 2,000 feet, 2,500 feet. Look at Buckhorn Summit. You've got, look at that, right there at that line here. You got near Oregon Mountain, you're seeing some snow as well. We could be looking at a mix out towards places like Weaverville and Hayfork. That's Saturday. This is tomorrow morning. And of course, the heavy snow off to the east. But by the time we get to 9 a.m., the bulk of that activity is now off to the east. The cold front is now off to our east. Now we're dealing with cold and unstable air. You see how we're seeing some clearing in the valley? This could set the stage for an afternoon thunderstorm as we go into the afternoon, obviously, right? And not to mention off to the west as well. We've also got snow showers in the higher elevations, which will keep a bit of a challenge for travel. Even Saturday afternoon, even though things are starting to taper off. But then by 6 o'clock in the evening, by Saturday night, things are really starting to dry out. And look at this. Yes. There's a look at Sunday morning. There's a look at Sunday afternoon. Dry. But Clouds will be on the increase by Sunday evening. There's Monday's storm system. There's storm number 3 that'll be here by Monday. But you know what? Let's get through the weekend first, right? So the Storm Prediction Center, yes, it is putting us in the category of a chance for thunderstorms. I think it should be a little bit farther to the west. I think Chico could see some activity as well as Red Bluff. And that'll be the case again here for tomorrow. I think tomorrow, better chances, honestly. And then again, I think it should be filling in a little bit more here off to the east as well. All right, so let's take a look at the rainfall totals. Looks pretty impressive, right? I mean, you're talking over 2 inches of rain possibly for many of us in the valley, possibly approaching that 3-inch range here for many parts of the coast as well. So still some heavy rainfall heading our way. Snow, I think we're looking at some pretty good representations here. We could see a foot to maybe even 2 feet of snow out towards the Mount Shasta City area, a little bit less than that in Dunsmuir, less than that obviously in Bernie, and yeah, a couple of feet of snow is a possibility out towards Chester as well. And then, of course, we're seeing less in the way of snow off to the north and east, but snow nonetheless, and that's going to create travel headaches. Right now, everything's clear on I-5, but east of I-5, plenty of chain requirements. West of I-5, nothing on Highway 299 yet. But you can see as we look at the forecast road conditions, let's take you into this afternoon. There's 3 o'clock. Bit of a rain-snow mix, it looks like, out towards Mount Shasta City and, of course, Highway 89. Not much going on here on Highway 299. Then we go into tonight and tomorrow morning. Again, it's showing a mix, but I think it's going to be mainly in the form of snow at that point. And then we got some towards Buckhorn Summit and also near Oregon Mountain. Here's the bottom line. I can talk to you about the forecast road conditions, but the road conditions at moment's notice, they can change very quickly. So here's what I encourage you to do. I want you to do this because this is a great resource for you. I've put some thought into at least the web page on for the road conditions. You click on the road conditions. Go to weathernorcal.com. You'll see this right here. You click on the road conditions, and it's a one-stop shop. What you got here is number one. You can check there's a direct link to Quick Map, which of course is Caltrans. It'll tell you what all the road conditions are as far as chain requirements are concerned. But I've also taken some of the more popular Caltrans cameras over many of the mountain passes for all of Northern California. And you can just scroll through and very quickly see what the road conditions are looking like all across Northern California at a quick glance. You don't have to click on this one or click on that one or click on, you can just see very easily where everything is. And I put it in a nice little convenient location for you right here. So check it out. Put it a bookmark too. You can also, by the way, access all of that from your app. It's really cool. You get on the app, you click on road conditions, you're looking at all the different cameras. It's awesome. All right, so there you can see the ski park through at least Saturday because Sunday will be dry. Look at that, 54 inches of snow. Hey, this is great to see. All right, so here's your ski report. 48 inches of snow at the summit. That was as of last night when they were reporting it. And of course, you can see some of the other ski parks. Here's what I want to say about today. Snow is not necessarily my biggest concern as far as travel is concerned. I'm more concerned about the wind. Mount Shasta Ski Park is known and will close the ski park if it's really windy up on the ski park. We're going to be looking at gusty winds there today. And so if you have plans to go to the ski park, you may want to call ahead or check their website to see if they're going to stay open today. They're probably going to wait until the winds actually pick up. So if you do go there in the morning before the winds get the strongest, then may have some luck at least to get some in there. But by noon, look at the winds. I mean, here's central Siskiyou County, where Mount Shasta City alone is at 23 miles an hour. You're easily going to see gusts at the ski park 30, 40 miles an hour. Right? That's not conducive for safe conditions on those. You don't want those ski lifts swaying on you, right? That can be very dangerous. So that's why they typically close it. So we'll see what happens with the ski park today. Snow, that's not the biggest concern. It's again the winds. As far as any safety up there is concerned right now. Look at central Siskiyou County again. This is Shasta Valley. I mean, you're seeing 50, 60 miles an hour easily. So big rigs, high profile vehicles, it can be a problem. And of course, 30 to 40 mile an hour gusts as you head along the coast. But look at this, by Saturday morning, still gusty out towards Mount Shasta, still gusty in the valley, but we're seeing weaker winds to the west of that. And then by Saturday afternoon, we're beginning to see the winds die down, still gusty off to the east. But then by Saturday evening, going into Sunday, we do expect much calmer winds. All right, let's talk about the coastal flood warning along the immediate coast here. if you live in this area, you know the typical spots that we'll see the flooding. This is not because of rain, by the way. This is because of high astronomical tide that they're seeing this morning. So that's something you need to be aware of and be careful of if you live in that area. And taking a look at the wave heights for today, they're not changing much over the next 24 hours. So as a result, there is going to be a gale warning here for today, and most likely even into tomorrow. The winds are going to be fairly strong out of the south at about 25 to 35 knots, and of course, stronger gusts. All right, so here's your forecast for Trinity County. Temperatures in the low to mid 40s along Highway 299. That's also the case out towards Highway 3. Fairly uniform temperatures. And that's common during these storm systems because you've got the overcast skies and we don't see much variation in those temperatures. Rain steady, snow steady above 3,000 feet. Temperatures mainly in the low to mid 40s. For the North Coast neighborhood forecast, 51 for Miranda, 52 out in Garberville. We get a break on Sunday and then another break Tuesday through the rest of next week. 55 in Ferndale, 52 for Hydesville, and Rio Dell, a high of about 51 degrees. Look for a high of 54 for Blue Lake, 55 in Trinidad and Eureka, also a high of about 55 degrees. It's also the case for Smith River, 54 in Crescent City, 51 for Oric, and there you can see out in Orleans a high of about 51 degrees. Your Siskiyou County neighborhood forecast, Highway 96 corridor in the mid to upper 40s, low to mid 40s along the I-5 corridor there. We take it to the south with 41 for Greenview, 40 in Callahan with those winds at about 9 miles per hour. There you can see out towards Weed about 37, 39 degrees in Weed. That's not a very good representation of the winds, is it? Only 1 mile an hour? No, it's going to be a lot stronger than that. But there you can see, of course, the dry conditions for Tuesday through Thursday, even into Friday of next week. Looking at your Modoc County neighborhood forecast, upper 30s to about 40 for Modoc County, dry on Sunday, and then of course dry again for Tuesday through Friday. Here's your Eastern Mountains neighborhood forecast, 43 for Montgomery Creek, 36 for Old Station, and 45 degrees for Paynes Creek. And for Lake Almanor and Lassen Park, well, there you have it. It's going to be cold up at the park, but of course, as you know, the highway is pretty much closed through the park, so you're not going to get through there anyways. But there you can see along the perimeter of the lake, you've got temperatures in the upper 30s, mid to upper 30s for those daytime highs. Take you out to Paradise, a high of 47 degrees today, 37 for Janesville, 40 in Susanville, and 42 degrees in Doyle. How about your Walgamuth painting, that is, Valley neighborhood forecast? You got about 52 degrees out towards Red Bluff, 51 in Durham, and 51 degrees for Gridley. We take you up north, 50 in the city of Shasta Lake, 52 for Redding, 47 for Lakehead, and 49 degrees in Whiskeytown. All right, let's take a look at that 7-day outlook for Redding. Yeah, we're drying it out on Sunday. That's going to be a nice break. In fact, that's the day I'm going up to the ski park with my son, Aiden. He's going to snowboard. I'm going to try my new skis. Yes, I got some new skis. I'm very excited about it. Since he's on the snowboarding team, I take him up to the ski park a lot. So rather than just sitting there in the lodge, I'm like, hey, I'm gonna ski while he's up there. So I got a ski pass, the works. Now, what's funny is this, and I'm going to tell you something. In Redding, we have a sports shop called Sports LTD. I've been going to them for years and years and years. And I got to tell you something. Number one, the faces there, the people that work there are essentially the same people that have been working there for as long as I've been here, which is over 25 years. So these guys and gals, they know their stuff. So my brother-in-law gave me some skis. He lives in Texas. And I didn't realize how old the skis were, but he gave them to me. And one of the bindings, I think, was broken. So I brought it into Sports LTD. They're like, yeah, the binding's broken. But then they looked at the skis and go, dude, these skis are like 15, 20 years old. You're not going to have a good time skiing on these at all. So I got a phenomenal deal on some skis. It's a ski and binding package. And the whole ski and binding package was like a little over $300. I know that may sound like a lot of money to you, but when you're talking skis, that's very inexpensive. Because skis can get up there of like $1,000, bindings, and it just gets ridiculous. But they got me on a good deal. And on top of that, they were kind of busy. I said, but I'm going out with my son on Sunday. They said, we'll hook you up. So check them out. If you're ever looking for any kind of sporting equipment, whether it's skiing, snowboarding, they got a great selection of mountain bikes. One of their main guys in the mountain bike section, the guy is awesome. He knows his stuff. And then, of course, backpacking. They got a whole section upstairs with, it's heaven up there if you're a backpacker. They've got such great gear. So Sports LTD in Redding, I highly recommend that you check them out. They are phenomenal. So again, that was just kind of a little free plug for them. All right, let's check in with everybody, see how you're doing this morning. Let's see here. We got Kathleen saying, good morning. Lots of rain this morning in Reading. Yes, we're seeing that wet weather out there this morning. But Tracy Sackett saying, thanks so much, Mike. Very much appreciate the detailed forecast. That's what I do. That's what I love doing. It's so awesome. I love that I don't have to worry about any time constraints, nothing. I can give you the forecast in my time. And in your time, if you have time to watch it. That's why I got Krueger's Quickcast, so we can do it here pretty quickly here. Of course, as I was mentioning, my wife is going to be possibly traveling up there Saturday morning. She's saying she should definitely wait a few days before traveling. I agree. Not a good idea to be up there. We've also got Elaine saying, good morning, Mike. Been a while. Enjoy this rainy day. And we got David Hoffman saying, going to Medford and back, hoping the worst holds off until after 4 p.m. David, I think so. Obviously, you got the chains. You know that. You need to pack the chains. There's a chance you may be dealing with chains this morning, but I think the worst will hold off until after 4 p.m. Fingers crossed. I think you should be in pretty good shape. That's what it's looking like at this point. So I would feel okay sending any of my loved ones up there between now and 4 p.m. today, because I think it's going to be okay road-wise. But again, keep in mind, too, you're driving a big rig. Remember the winds, David. Remember we're looking at gusty winds upwards of 40, 50, 60 miles an hour. So please be careful when those winds begin to pick up, because I know that can be a big problem, especially those high-profile vehicles can create a lot of problems. So there you have it. Whew. Well, that was fun. We had a lot to talk about here this morning. Still have a little bit of time here. But I think we're done. I think the questions are over with. I think everybody got what they needed out of this forecast, so I think we're good. So what do you say we wrap up the show? And remember, for those of you that are just kind of tuning in, I will also be doing a Coffee with Krueger tomorrow morning. I really do want to stay up to speed, keep you up to speed with what's going on with the storm tomorrow morning, especially if you have to travel. And of course, I'll be doing the 6 o'clock in the morning update. But then Chase Wilson, who is my weekend meteorologist, he will be doing tomorrow noon and tomorrow at 6 p.m. as well, and of course Sunday too. So just kind of a heads up on programming there. I do plan on doing a Coffee with Krueger tomorrow morning, same time at 7 a.m. So, in the meantime, have yourselves a great day, and we will see you on a special edition of Coffee with Krueger tomorrow morning. Let's get you to some cameras here and wrap things up. Have a great day, and have a great afternoon, and have a great weekend, and we'll see you tomorrow morning.
Bye.